There we are, and welcome everyone to game number 1, the first series of the day, Warlords round of 16, next to last. Opening set over here, Nicov playing with Hindustanis, will be facing Mr. Yo playing with Lithuanians. Land Madness and Nicov is on the left hand side, while Mr. Yo is on the right hand side. To open up, we'll take a look at what the map is looking like for both these players, and we are going to begin with the blue player because why not? And taking a look at the map generation for Nicov specifically, we'll see that he's got the gold on the back. He's got one gold on the back over here to collect from. He's got, in addition to that, berries on the right hand side. He's already going to start collecting from here, but then there is no stone that I can see. And there is no extra gold, so it doesn't seem like he's got plenty of extra resources to collect from over here. While if we take a look at Mr. Yo's map on the other hand, well, the red player, he's got one gold on the right hand side. He does have a neutral gold over here on the left, or actually on the right hand side towards the back rather. And there is one on the left over here, right next to the minimap too. It's kind of far away. But we have 3 golds over here potentially available. Damn, there's even a 4th gold over here that we can already see. This is the same zoom level, 5 golds as a matter of fact. Same zoom level that we had when we were taking a look at Nikov's map. And while Mr. Yo won't have any stone available immediately next to the TC, he does have one over here on the right hand side, so you could potentially collect from it. Hey B, welcome. Alright. I guess we can say there are extra golds over here also for Nicov. None of these is particularly accessible. Technically, that's going to be about 4 golds for him versus 5 from Mr. Yo. But, of course, Mr. Yo's were positioned in a much better location. No bets? I'm not really sure there are enough people to get the bets going. We just started. I can try. Let's see. Let's start predictions for game number 1. Options going to be following the player colors. So we have Yo for option 2 and we have Nicov for option 1. We are going to leave this open for 5 minutes. There we go. You can try. If you want to play the predictions, they're open for 5 minutes from now. It's been a while. How are you, Noah? Hey, Whitebeard. I'm doing alright. I'm doing better. Things are okay. And hopefully we're gonna go back to normal in just a few days. Hopefully, perhaps just starting from tomorrow, so it's all good. Just been taking these last couple days to decompress, so outside the stream. Just been chilling, playing with friends. Trying to stay entertained, distracted, and yeah, starting next week we're gonna go back to studying and all that good stuff. Regardless though, stables coming up for Mr. Yo. On the left hand side, we have a stable coming up for Nicov as well. Both these guys going up at pretty comparable times. Mr. Yo is behind by a little bit. But with the defender's advantage, he should be in an alright spot over here, even if the stable is coming up a little bit later, so... Oh, quick walls coming up for Nicov over here. Preemptive walls, actually. And we see the same thing for Mr. Yo, although Mr. Yo... Yeah, he's going for that on both wood lines. And both these players know exactly what to expect over here. One difference is that Mr. Yo's got 2 wood lines. Nikov's got a single one over here. But I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference unless Mr. Yo was to go for skirmishers perhaps and then was able to get a few forward. But then that could also be the case for Nicov, as it's a very natural transition from scouts for whatever civilization you go for. So let's see. Mr. Yo's coming in already. He's got 2 scouts, 1 spearman. Meanwhile, Nicov already had 2 scouts. He's got a 3rd scout on the way. And of course, he had a head start in production by getting the stable up a little bit sooner, but if Mr. Yo played defensively, he would have been able to match Nicov for army count. Now that's not going to be possible for him anymore. You know what? Mr. Yo's gotta be careful. Nicov probably knows He knows, yeah, he knows about everything. He's paying attention himself on the left-hand side as well. Oh, with the trap! Oh, that was so close though. Nicov got the foundations in time, but it was too weak of a foundation. The one up in the north end. Mr. Yo breaks out of there. Now Nicov, he's gotta be patient over here because those berries are about to run out and take a look. Nicov's waiting for it. He's circling like a vulture, and here he comes. As Mr. Yo doesn't realize about this, Nicov's gonna try to engage. He's got 2 scouts over here. Should be able to get the villager down for sure then. This one is gonna get a little bit too low HP, and well done. Nicov even brought one of the scouts around to prevent the villagers from just straight walking out back towards the DC, and that's going to result in a lot of losses. And oh my lord, 3 villagers dead from Mr. Yo, all due to Nicov's incredible patience. Great players making great plays right here. Left hand side, no damage coming in from Mr. Yo whatsoever. Yes, 1 wood light is less efficient, absolutely. Especially in the long run. And Mr. Yo, he was trying to find some material here. He even dove underneath the TC, just that he feels pressure to do something after taking so many losses, but he is unfortunately unable to achieve much of anything. And yeah, you know, he got pushed away from the berries, so now the advantage for Nicov is substantial. Not only is he on extra villagers, but his economy has not been compromised whatsoever. So worker efficiency is higher for Nicov. He's got lower idle TC time. He's got freaking Hindustanis, so he's been saving resources by the minute just by virtue of training villagers for cheaper. And if we take a look at gather economy time, you'll see that it's about the same for both these guys, interestingly enough. And I wonder about that. It's gotta be due to the double lumber camp over here versus the single lumber camp. I guess that's probably kind of making up for the villagers lost over there. Perhaps not for the villagers lost, rather, but it's probably making up for what should have been a little bit more of an efficient economy for Nicov. Regardless though, from this point on, the longer the game goes, the better it's going to be for Nicov. He's got more villages after all to work with, and as long as he keeps the TC working and does not get copious amounts of idle TC time, he's gonna start pulling a lead. Now he's got bloodlines on the way. Same as Mr. Yo. We see forging already here for Nicov. Mr. Yo's only going for it now. Both players going for it on about the same scout count of 6 over here. Yeah, Nicov's just gonna keep on defending. It's worked fine so far. Definitely would like for him to try and bring some of the spearmen over to, yeah, the back of his base, because this is still exposed. Notice, if Mr. Yo just dove over here, and if he found some of these villagers before Nicov managed to get the walls up, that would be pretty difficult for Nicov to deal with. And there we are, 2 scouts going down. Meanwhile, Nicov, he's got all the scouts up still. Well, the majority, he did end up losing 1 scout as well himself, but gets a villager down, so it's worth it. There we go, that's the remnants of the scout. He's gonna try to go after some of the foragers. He could take the engagement over here. It's not good though, because each time that he goes on to take a spearman, yeah, he risks losing one of the scouts because he's got some too low HP, so he's just gonna bail and just try to make a play for the castle age. And he's got the resources almost. He's got the buildings. So Nicov should be on his way to the castle age, while Mr. Yo, there we go. While Mr. Yo, on the other hand, he's got enough gold, not enough food. He's getting a market up over here so he can balance his economy, probably sell a little bit of the wood, and then buy the food that he needs, go up to the castle age, but he's gonna be behind, and Nikov's gonna have already a 30-second head start. Actually more than that. It's gonna be a 50-second head start. Even more than that! Mr. Yo is not using the market! What is going on? There we go. Castle H on the way now for Mr. Yo as well, but man, he's already fallen behind by 50 seconds. It's gonna allow Nicov to start pumping some camels already. And he understands, man, they are so strong right now. Hera was saying it yesterday during the interview. They are super good, and while Lithuanians do begin with extra resources and they get extra attack per relics collected on Knights and Lycha units, it doesn't really matter now. Mr. Yo managed to sneak a villager on the left hand side and get a tower up. Ends up pushing some villagers away, all the villagers away from Nicov out of the wood line, but Nicov is going to start collecting from the south wood now. Was kind of unfortunate for him having to go for yet another lumber camp over here when he already had paid for this one fairly recently. But I would imagine it's not going to be enough to compensate for the villager kills, right? Let's take a look at gather economy time. It was about neck and neck before. Now? It's looking a little bit better for Nicov, but still very close though. Mr. Yo has managed to disrupt Nicov's economy enough so that Nicov struggles to pull a lead in that regard. However, because of the savings that Nicov gets for each villager he goes for, on an equal gather economy time, it should still be a little bit better for Nicov. Not because he's collecting more resources, that wouldn't be the case for the civilization, but because he gets to keep more of those resources after going for the villagers, and that's not going to be the case for Mr. Yo, of course. Paying full price for each vill. So Castle H is here for Mr. Yo as well. He got completely wiped out. Even if one camel and a few scouts and the spearman went down over here from Nicov, he does end up clearing this up. And what is Mr. Yo doing with these villagers over here? Completely exposed. My lord. Absolutely fantastic. Then up in the north of Mr. Yo's base, we have some camels from Nicov. Mr. Yo's already gotten the pikeman upgrade, but it's still going to be a struggle for the red player. Nicov is looking fantastic for game number 1. Now, we were talking about this yesterday. Mr. Yo, Hera, Leary, and the Viper are usually considered top 4 players of the game, right? Like the very top 4. Kind of untouchable in a sense. But then we saw Leary go down to Tato before, and you might say, okay, we gotta be fair, that is a different game mode, right? This is more standard, alright. But Mr. Yo is struggling big time over here. This is just the one game, so it's not a huge sample size to try and quote-unquote evaluate Mr. Yo's performance in the series so far. Anything can happen still. We could still see, like, let's say Nicov takes this one. Mr. Yo could still win 3-1, but yeah, it's interesting to see how there is seemingly closer competition. And this is something also that Tato said during the interview. It's not that the guys are not at the very top anymore necessarily, but it's just that the competition is closer, and everybody below the top 4, they are still going to be much stronger compared to what the top 5 and lower would be a few years ago, right? So yeah, Mr. Yo, Leary, the Viper, and Hera will face stronger competition for the rest of this year and into next year, I'm very sure. Here we are, relics coming in for Nicov. He's trying to prioritize these, not to allow Mr. Yo to collect the relics himself. And Mr. Yo, he does have some monks. He's collected 1 so far. And there are 2 over here which are closer to Mr. Yo's base, although I think Nicov knows about this. He knows about that one. And then there is this one that I'm actually not really sure. Nicov is aware of. Or actually, Mr. Yo even is aware of. Yeah, Mr. Yo doesn't know, so he's gonna go and collect this one down the south, and that's about the only one that he'll be able to collect from the remaining ones. So it's gonna be 2-2, and Nicov, he doesn't know about the relic up in the north, so that one's going to remain up for grabs over here by both players, and no one's going to go for it just yet. So let's take a look. There's a big engagement coming up at the center. Mr. Yo had gone for a forward TC, and over here it seems like it's going to get pushed back. We have some pikemen. Mr. Yo to defend himself against the camels with, but doesn't seem like it's gonna be enough. Nicov is getting a much better engagement over here. He's got the monks over there. He's got his own spearmen for a meat shield. And if he plays his cards right, he should be able to take the pikemen down over here without taking too many losses in terms of cavalry. You see he's being targeted next. We have armor elephants over here for Nicov as well, and things are looking great for the bull player. This engagement should go in favor of Nicov as well. It's not even close. Mr. Yo doesn't even want to fight, and he's got camels over here to face. He's got pikemen to work with against camels, and he's just like, nope, 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 nope. Getting the crap out of here, and this just goes to show how strong of a civilization the Hindustanis can be. And yeah, it just speaks volumes about the potential for blue civilization over here when he's pushing pikemen down with freaking camels. It's absolutely incredible. I was gonna take villages down for Nicov and for Mr. Yo, sorry, and honestly wouldn't be surprised to see the red player call a GG over here just because how much damage he's taken in the last minute or so while he does not have anything going in his favor. He's got no counter pressure at all. At all, and the pikemen are simply not working against the camels. This really brings back memories from when Indians were first released and they were so strong, so hard to stop. Imperial camels, well, were unbeatable, and then they got nerfed, then they got plate part and armor removed, and now, well, now we have plate part and armor back, and these camels actually attack 25% faster as well. After Indians got nerfed so many times, they went down quite a bit in the win rate. They got significantly weaker, and now Hindustanis seem to have brought them back to their former glory, or at the very least some resemblance of it. Mr. Yo's got a big chunk of his economy going to the left-hand side. He's going to try to drop a castle by the looks of it. He's got the resources. And Nicov doesn't have the resources to go for a counter castle himself. So where can we see the castle come up for Mr. Yo? There are 2 DCs over here. So going for something like a castle, I would say around this area on top of the hill, for instance, would be fantastic. Yeah, he's going for one very close to where I wanted to see it. Yeah, and this is good. Yeah, there we go. It's actually pretty darn decent. Oh, the quick walls though from Mr. Yo. Doesn't finish, but it doesn't matter. The castle goes up. A villager goes down over here. Nicov managed to scrap enough stone over here, mainly by using the market to get a counter castle up. So now both players have castles. Nicov can bring the armor elephants. Yes, this is what I wanted to see. He can bring the armor elephants back. He can target this right away, and Mr. Yo doesn't have the means to either protect this or go for a similar counter push himself. So this castle's going down for Mr. Yo. That's simply the way it's going to be. Here we are. Yeah, fantastic. The pikeman over here going down to the camels again. Mr. Yo just can't catch a break. He might get some conversions over here, but the amount of camels Nicov's got to work with is already remarkable, and Mr. Yo does not want to keep on going. I certainly wouldn't in this position either, and that's going to be 1-0 for the Argentinian. Let's take a look at the achievements before jumping into game number 2. Hopefully without having to wait too long, we'll see a better than 2-to-1 KD ratio for Nicov. It's been great for him. Conversions for Nicov were quite good though. for Mr. Yo, sorry, were quite good. But yeah, obviously did not really suffice for him to get a lead or anything like that. And then for economy, we see a much stronger economy with Nicov getting about 4,000 extra resources. And society, well, we have a higher society score over here for Nicov. He managed to get the most villagers out this game. He lost the fewest villagers as well. He lost 8 villagers. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo ended up losing about 14 villagers over here from a much lower villager count anyway. And that's gonna be about it for game number 1. Let's go back. And game number 2 is here. Once again, Nicov on the left-hand side playing with Ethiopians versus Mr. Yo. On the right-hand side towards the north playing with Poles. And with this map being Gold Rush, I do like the Poles quite a bit. I like their mobility. As a matter of fact, I love their mobility, especially compared to Ethiopians who are not really going to have anything comparable. It makes sense that it's Mr. Yo's home map. It certainly seems to have the more suitable civilization in my opinion. But we'll see. I guess technically, Nico's got access to camels, right? Let's enable predictions for game number 2. Everyone as well, if you want to play the prediction contest. Predictions are open from now for 5 minutes. Option 1, Nicov. Option 2, Mr. Yo, for who wins game number 2. You can use your channel points. And eventually we are going to have more stuff to do with the channel points. For the time being, this is what we get. There we go. Mr. is already going for the Volvok over here. He's been pushing some of the zebras. Or actually not zebras, sorry, some of the ibex. While we wait for the players to get something going, to go up to the fuelage, this is most likely going to result in a fast castle. But while we wait for that, I'm just going to take a look at what we get for the map generation for each player. So starting with the blue player, we'll see first off that Nico's got 1 stone on the back. He's got 1 gold on the back, which is great. Then he's got gold forward, the stone forward over here. This is not quite as good, but he does have a very nice map generation in terms of the wool lines to potentially get the walls. So something like from here to here, here to here, and then from here to here will be enough for him to completely wall himself in and secure these resources. The stone, the gold, obviously the wool line over here is going to be secured as well, and then the extra wool lines towards northwest, this one over here, and these ones over here as well. While taking a look at the map generation for Mr. Yo, on the other hand, he's got a somewhat comparable map generation, I would say. So if we take a look at this, the red player, he's got 1 gold on the back, he's got 1 stone on the back, he's got 1 gold on the right hand side, and then he's got another stone forward. So this stone is not quite as good, and the berries are kind of forward. He should be able to protect himself, maybe going for something like from here to here, and then from here to here, and from here to here. That'll be a little bit pricier compared to the walls that I was suggesting for Nicov, but he would be able to secure the wool line over here, the wool line over here, the wool line over here as well, and these resources, the stone and the golds. Village is on the way already for both these guys. Doesn't seem like any of these players is going to be too severely affected by the location of their resources. Although I do like Mr. Yo's generation a little bit more because he does have these golds kind of side-ish. We don't have like a straightforward gold. Like this one is still kind of side-ish. And if he goes for the walls that I was suggesting, he would be able to secure that one. Meanwhile, Nicov, he would only be able to secure the one in the back, and then if he gets pushed away from the front one and gets suppressed so that he's not able to go to the center, it might be GG right there. FLH is here. Mr. Yo's got the stable coming up, but Nicov's got the archer range coming up, as you would be expecting from Ethiopians. And we didn't really talk about the civilizations too much, but Ethiopians will get faster attacking archers, which is great. He's gonna have also 200 additional resources added to his bank once he gets to a new age with 100 extra food and 100 extra gold available to him. So that is certainly good. Mr. Yo, he does not get anything like that, but he does have pretty efficient stone miners with poles. However, he's not been mining stone at all. He doesn't have a reason for stone mining at this point in time, and even though the stone miners are more efficient by generating gold in addition to stone when mining only stone, there is no reason for him to go for any of that either, because he's not trushing. He's not going for archers, just going to be scouts, so he's focusing 100% and just wood and food for the time being. And we have the scouts coming forward. That's the second one over here. And Mr. Yo is gonna try and target Nicov. Nicov's going for the quick walls over here, and Mr. Yo's there. Already 2 scouts. He's gonna get a village down over here. He's gotta be careful. Notice how Nicov tried to trap Mr. Yo inside the berry bushes over there, and Mr. Yo realized and did not fall for it. And in the end, wow! A villager goes down from Nicov, but Mr. Yo ended up losing 2 scouts. Remarkable. Nice, nice. There you are, Mr. Yo is coming back home over here after suffering a few losses, but at the very least he got a kill. Nicov. He ended up losing some of the units he sent forward over here, but did not get a kill in exchange. Yeah, well done. Well done. Mr. Yo ends up kind of equalizing over here. Yo! Mr. Whitebeard! Let's go! 5 months! With Prime Gaming. Lovely. Free for you. Fantastic for me. Even more so. I better not finish that thought. But, yeah. Thank you so much for the excellent support. Appreciate it. Yeah, there we go. Need to get more avocados. I have only 1 left. It's a gigantic one, to be fair, so it's worth probably about 2-3 avocados on its own, but yeah, probably more like 3 avocados on its own, but interesting. Anyway, still need to get some more for when that one runs out. And it seems like both players will just play for the castle edge over here. And Nicov is significantly closer to it. CEO's been going for some skirmishers to defend himself. He did go for extra scouts at the very beginning of the field age, of course, so he spent some resources over there as well. And it's going to take a little bit longer to get the resources to go up to the castle age, but now he's finally taking advantage of the stone miners. So the mechanic for poles, due to the civilization bonus, is that each stone miner is going to produce 0.5 units of gold per each unit of stone that they mine. So that allows them to effectively produce 50% extra resources compared to any other standard miner unit. So Mr. Yo's got 3 stone miners right now, and he's gonna kind of use that as if it was 1.5 gold miners to collect enough gold to go up to the castle age. He won't really have enough though, not on time. He's gonna have to use a market, and I'm not really sure if he's got a market, as a matter of fact. He's got the stable, he's got the archer range, he's got a blacksmith, but no market. Yeah, it seems to me like he's gonna get the food, but not the gold. Nicov, on the other hand, already managed to click up to the castle age, actually a little bit ago. It's gonna be in the castle age significantly earlier compared to Mr. Yo, and the question becomes, what will Nicov do once he gets to the castle age? By taking a look at the resources, The fact that he ended up selling the stone in order to rush the castle age. It seems to me as if it should be full pressure from Nicov. Now, the thing is, he's not collecting stones, so he's not going to be able to go for a castle or anything to protect the center. Unless, perhaps the blue player decides to make a play for a siege workshop over here, for instance. And then try to put pressure. Maybe not from here, actually. You know what? Perhaps from... Yeah, going for the siege workshop over here instead. On the ridge, so to say. I think that'll be the best for him. So around here, right? Okay, there we go. Let's go in for it over here. That's a little bit better. Hey T West. Hello there, welcome. How's it going? This is exactly what I want to see from Nicov. Now we'll see if he can make it work. He's got a good amount of crossbows. Although he's got a single archer range to produce, it's gonna take some time for him to get enough units out. Well, Mr. Yo, he's not really on any extra military buildings himself. He's got a single archer range, the same he had in the fuel age. A single stable over here. He's gonna be under a lot of pressure, but he has been collecting a lot of stones. So first off, he's gonna try to hold on over here. He's gotta be careful because there is a ram for sure, which is going to make things a little bit harder, right, on Mr. Yo. But if he manages to get enough stone to get potentially a castle over here. Oh, he's going for the castle on the back. I am not the biggest fan of this one. I think a castle over here would already have prevented Nicov from getting any damage down over here and getting further back, but yeah, it's gonna go for a more defensive castle even over here. He was already expecting Nicov to breach through, so I guess that makes sense, but I still think he would have been able to get a castle up regardless if he had tried. Especially when he's got so many skirmishers over here to defend his villages against the crossbow. So, as Nicov knows about the skirmishers, just gonna try and trade 4 villagers. Cannot really do too much damage. In the end, it's gonna be about 3 villagers going down, I think. In total, it says 6 over here, but I don't think it was all from this castle attempt. Yeah, and in the end, Mr. Yo is going to clean Nicov up. As the blue player hasn't really gone for any extra TCs, the only way for him to hold on to the villager lead over here is going to be just keeping his TC active, as both players are on 1 TC each, and prevent Mr. Yo from getting out of his base and going forward and trying to put pressure himself. Now, with Mr. Yo's castle, the possibility for Slack the Privileges already opens up if he gets the resources. That castle overlay needs Doubt's face. Oh, it's gotta be a foundation to have Doubt's face, right? But we can do it by hand, I guess. Nice quick walls from Mr. Yo. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's unlikely he'll be able to get the knights down with skirmishers. Oh, never mind. It goes down right away. A lot of damage output over here, punching power from these knights, and it seems like the magnet's going down too. Wow, that is actually a good amount of damage for Nicov overall. Doesn't end up losing many of the knights, so might not have been completely worth it. He did not get villagers over here, just the Magnal. He lost 3 knights, so definitely not the most cost effective for sure. As Mr. Yo keeps on collecting stone, he'll be able to go for another castle eventually, but not right away. Nikov's pressure over here is fantastic. Before the game started, I was talking about the possibility of Slack the Privileges and Mr. Yo abusing the mobility to bully Nicov out of the map over here, just into a corner, but it's not been the case so far. Nikov's game over here has gone significantly better than Mr. Yo, and the red player is only now going for a defensive siege workshop over there. Relocates it. He's got the castle, but he doesn't have the resources to go for Slack the Privileges. He doesn't have the buildings to take advantage of something like Slack the Privileges. If we take a look at the red player, he's got at this point in time no stables anymore. The only one that he had has already gone down to Nikov's pressure, so this is looking great for the blue player. And take Check this out. This TC is going down for sure. There's nothing that Mr. Yo's got right now to put a stop to this. And then up in the north, there's a second TC coming up for Mr. Yo. It's going to survive behind the castle, but he's already fallen behind. He's already fallen behind, so if Nicov places cards right over here and just keeps the TC working, he should be able to prevent Mr. Yo from catching up. Ever, basically. Hey Rosa! Want to say hi to you. Welcome. Welcome back. Hope you're doing alright. There we are. TC and archer range go down from Mr. Yo. He's got another TC coming up on the left hand side, and Nicov. Nicov's got 4 freaking mangonels. Let's take a look at what kind of vision he's got around here. Yeah, he doesn't really know where the stuff is from Mr. Yo. He's going for a forward TC himself over here with 2 villagers. That's an interesting one. Oh, and you know what? Mr. Yo does manage to get 2 mangonels down over here. He ended up losing 1 himself. Some skirmishes in the night, so once again, probably not the most cost-effective trade, but at the very least, it's going to alleviate some of the pressure. Hey, Jaraka! Hope you're doing great. I'm doing alright. It's better. It's better today. Taking it one day at a time. And tomorrow I'm picking up again right where I left off after the last week depression, so to say. Or this week's depression. We're just going to pick it up and just try to look forward, man, and try to figure a different way towards the goals. Towards the audio interface. Alright, defense for Mr. Yo. The monks pushing Nicov away, and Nicov is in the end going to get caught up for villager count. If you take a look, the worker count for both these guys. With the second TC over here, certainly Mr. Yo was able to catch up quite a bit, but now that Nicov's got the second TC up as well, as long as he keeps both TCs working, then it's going to be just playing catch up for Mr. Yo. Against a moving target, you know, that moves at the same speed, so never going to happen. So, I still think Nicov can put more pressure over here. He's got the monastery already, so he should be able to defend against knights. He's got the mangonels, so skirmishes won't do anything. He's got crosses over here, so anything else is going to go down for Mr. Yo as well. So all that Nicov's gotta do is just go forward and see what Mr. Yo is up to, because he's not really been getting too much vision. He knows about the TC behind the castle, but he doesn't know about the left hand side one. If you know about the left hand side one, that's a TC that's gonna be a little bit easier for him to target because the castle's not there. But he's not going. He's just going to kind of sit here as a human barrier, try to prevent Mr. Yo from getting out of the corner, and hopefully he'll just be able to outlast the red player after Mr. Yo eventually runs out of gold. Speaking of which, how much gold do we have left for Mr. Yo? He's got a single tile. He's got a single tile worth about 550 gold. And then this one is forward. It's completely out of reach for Mr. Yo because of the TC from Nicov. And the blue player is going for a 30C at the center. Oh, what's going on over there though? I think he... The jaguars, something? Leopards? Snow leopards? Yeah, the snow leopards kind of... Honestly, I don't think that's even the case because the villagers are... Oh! It might have been a snow leopard because one of the villagers is weak. That was probably stepping on top of the foundation and he couldn't build and now he forgot. Nicov, come on! 0% worker efficiency for these villagers. Unbelievable. It might not matter. He still has both golds back home to collect from, so even if he does not start collecting gold from the center anytime soon, he'll still be able to outlast Mr. Yo simply by having access to both his golds compared to Nicov, who hasn't compared to Mr. Yo, sorry, who hasn't been able to leverage on his second gold. And in just a few seconds, we'll see the gold run out over here for the red player. And without the gold, Mr. Yo is going to be without hope. Unable to produce mangonels. Yeah, unable to produce much of anything. And Nicov still doesn't realize about the TC, by the way. These villagers have been idle for so long. All-time worker efficiency goes down by the second. There we go! Nicov, come on! He realized this TC could have been up already for minutes. He would have been able to get a significantly stronger villager lead. But he's finally getting it up, so there is that. And the further forward siege workshops coming up from the blue player. This is alright. I don't think it's necessary. It's just a few tiles further ahead compared to this one. That's about it. There we go. Mr. Yo is trying to juggle his economy to go up to the Imperial Age. Nicov is gonna try and do the same. And how is Mr. Yo getting out of his base and coming with a fort castle? Yeah, it's just the fact that Nicov did not put any pressure further forward, right? He just let Mr. Yo do whatever he wanted on the back of his base. So now there is a chance for Mr. Yo to collect some gold at the center after he effectively ran out of gold back home. It's gonna be extremely important given the fact that he's just finished researching Shlachta privileges. He does still have some gold income from the stone miners, but ideally you want to actually collect gold over here. It's going to be still faster, obviously. And there we go. Mr. Yo is getting access back to gold. Not something that should have happened, if you ask me. There's manual conversion over here as well from Mr. Yo. We're gonna see another magnet. What was that? That was an insta conversion from Mr. Yo. Holy crap, did you see that? Damn. What kind of wizardry has the monk learned to allow him to convert the siege this quickly? Down the south, we'll see another castle coming up from Mr. Yo. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The sneakiness of the Chinese player is just ridiculous. How good is this? When it seems like everything's over for Mr. Yo, when it seems like when Nicov should certainly have this game easy, Mr. Yo sneaks through the back, starts collecting stone quite heavily, manages to get the castle up while getting a lot of extra gold for free in the process just by lieu of the civilization bonus for the stone miners. And now there's another castle coming up over here from Mr. Yo, but it looks like it's gonna go forward and try to steal Nikov's gold. And he could go for another castle very soon as well. So we could see the oppressor becoming the oppressee. The oppressor becoming the oppressed one. The oppressed. There we go. The oppressor becoming the oppressed. Mr. Yo certainly has the resources to go for a castle. He's just not going for it just yet. And Nikov's gonna be able to push Mr. Yo away from the left-hand side at the very least. But it seems like Mr. Yo is able to push Nicov away from the front of his base. And now Mr. Yo's gotten access to this gold once again. He's doing a really good job against Nicov. Seems like he should be able to push the blue player away from the center over here, at the very least for the non-castle buildings, right? Because the castle is going to require trebuchets, and Nikov's the only player who's managed to get himself up to the Imperial Age. You know, Mr. Yo looked as if he was going out to the Imperial Age a few moments ago, but now he's gonna start just going for knights, spending all his resources. And he'll try to make a play for pressure forward. Try to suppress Nicov. There is something to this for sure. For what Mr. Yu is trying to go for. Take a look at this. Nicov's got 65 villagers. And the ability to garrison only 35 of those. So there are still 30 villagers that are going to be still completely exposed from Nicov. So he's going to try to send some of these over to the center to defend his economy. That's certainly going to leave only about 20 villages exposed, and Nicov won't be able to garrison over here inside the TC and the castles. And that's just talking about a situation where Nicov actually manages to garrison all his villages, but because he's not even trying to garrison, only now going for the TC, he will end up taking a lot of losses over here. And unbelievable, Mr. Yo on 22 knights has the highest military count with the highest value, has the highest worker count. He's managed to get enough to go up to the Imperial Age, so he's on his way up as well. And despite the fact that Nikov's got the trebuchets over here, he's been able to take one of the castles down on the left-hand side from Mr. Yu, and should be able to get this castle down as well. Is still struggling against the red player just by lack of military. He's got a lot of crossbows out, but he's not gone for arbalisters yet. He needs to go for that. He's got bracer, yes. I don't think he's got chemistry. He doesn't. So he's got only +3. He needs to go for +4. He needs to go for arbalisters. He needs to take advantage and leverage his civilization strength over here. There we go. Castle's going down from Mr. Yo. He does have another TC coming up back home. That's going to be the third TC for him. And the knights are still roaming around on the back of Nicov's base. Nicov's paying attention, so he does end up trying to garrison villages over here. Still takes a few losses, though. And Mr. Yo, well, Mr. Yo already has chain barred armor. What a great game so far. There we are. The crossbows are still no arbalisters. Oh, what's going on with Nicov? He's got halberdier. At the very least, that's going to be great against the knights, I guess. But still, Mr. Yo, he's got very cheap knights to work with. Doesn't really have any gold miners currently, so that sucks. Doesn't really have any stone miners left anymore, so that sucks. He's gonna try and get a castle up around the back of Nikov's base and push the blue player away. But yeah, in the end, Nicov probably took a little bit too long, in my opinion, to take this one. I think this should have been game over probably 15 minutes ago. I think Nicov needed to push harder when he had momentum. And once Mr. Yo broke out of his own base and started going for the gold at the center, started putting pressure against Nicov, it just became so much harder for the blue player to hold on to his lead. But he's been able to for the most part. He did end up losing the population lead for military and the worker count earlier for a little while, but it was not long-lived. And even if he's only now going for arbalisters, he's been able to hold on for the most part to his military. With a halberdier, he's got a forecastle coming up over here, and it seems like he'll finally try to completely suppress Nicov as the oppressor becomes the oppressor once again. The OG oppressor who became the oppressed becomes the oppressor again, and then the oppressed who became the oppressor becomes the oppressed again. And Mr. Yo, well, this castle. Don't want to say it's going to put the final nail in the coffin, because that's not even close to being the case over here, but it's certainly going to keep on working towards eventually finishing Mr. Yo, especially as the red player does not have any resources back home anymore. He's got this gold he's not been collecting from for some reason, but then he's already run out of the stones he was collecting from on the left hand side. And he's making a play for wood over here, which is kind of risky if Mr. Yo realizes about that. He's got some vision. He could potentially send some units over there. Not a lot. Just a few Arbalisters perhaps. Even some Halberdier would do wonders to push Mr. Yo's economy down on the left hand side. Hey, there we go. Finally Mr. Yo starts collecting some gold. He was making a play for light cavalry before, skirmishers, which works well against pure Arbalister army that Nicov's got at the center. He's got to bring extra units, and he's got some Halberdier over here. Kind of wondering if Shuttle Warriors would be a good unit choice over here. Has mobility. Could potentially be utilized for raiding around. Yeah. Bombard cannon out for Nicov. He's gonna try and take the castle down from Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo. Instead, he's got a bombard cannon coming out himself. If Nicov does not pay attention over here, Mr. Yo might end up taking the bombard cannon down. If we take a look at the only trebuchet that Mr. Yo has been able to go for this game, it's a trebuchet up in the north. He's gonna try and take this castle down. It's gonna be difficult for sure. So there we go. The bombard cannon is coming out now from Mr. Yo. He's getting housed at 175 population. And let's see, does Nicov realize? Wow, Nicov noticed right away. Holy crap. And he starts going for the Shuttle Warriors. That's great. He realized about the villages up in the north and goes for a few Shuttle Warriors over there. These are not anywhere near fully upgraded, of course, but it's still going to be pretty strong, right? The Shuttle Warriors, as they are, they pack a punch, 16 attack. They will shred villagers down to smithereens, and you can see the villages are going down over here. 3 hits each. Mr. Yo sends a few like cavalry over there. And Nicov's paying attention, so he's going back. Is he? It seems as if he was pulling the units back, but he won't. Oh, he was not paying attention. Mr. Yo takes the bombard cannon down. Takes the trebuchet down. Should take the trebuchet down. Oh, never mind. Mr. Yo lost the bombard cannon probably to the trebuchet from Nicov. Interesting. The castle's under a lot of pressure over there. Nicov's got just tried to get one last shot out of that bombard cannon, but he cannot do it. But still, this castle will crumble eventually for Mr. Yo. And what a game! 52 minutes of such a power tug over here. Such a back and forth game. It's been amazing. Here we are. Beautiful. There we go. Castle's going down now for Mr. Yo finally. And this is Nicov's opportunity to try and get the raids going, as there is no protection over here for Mr. Yo anymore. So he can send the Halberdier forward, yes. Mr. Yo might not lose the villages instantly to Halberdier, but there is nowhere for him to garrison, so he's eventually going to end up taking losses. And these Halberdier will defend themselves against whatever cavalry Mr. Yo is going for, so it's cool. Nicov could potentially also have added a few extra Shuttle Warriors, but he's kind of housed right now, and for the most part, just gonna try to focus back to suppressing Mr. Yo and keeping him away from the center. While Mr. Yo, well, of course, is trying to get access to gold again. This one is not going to get him much longer. It's not going to get him much further, rather. As you see, it's got only 2,000 gold left. And he'll probably end up getting pushed away from here very soon. There are no fortifications for Mr. Yo. Just scouts and skirmishers, against which Nicov's not going to struggle. He's got the Arbalisters to take on the scouts, and he's got the bombard cannons to take on the skirmishers. Ideally, he wants some Halberdier over here instead of just Arbalisters, but he's got some coming forward. And then on the left-hand side, as expected, Mr. Yo will end up getting cleaned up. Win Hussar, though, for Mr. Yo. Just finished researching it. Interesting. He's been expanding everywhere. He's got the Winged Hazard coming in at the center. He's just gonna try to get the raids going and prevent Nicov from taking advantage of the center. It's difficult though, because this is Gold Rush as opposed to Golden Pit. The hail advantage over here is going to make these castles absolutely mental. So they shred. Even Winged Hazard. Even, yeah. The Winged Hazard will go down over there pretty quickly, especially as Mr. Yo with his civilization does not really have access to plate bar than armor. Imperial Age upgrade for Mr. Yo is here as well, so these get splash damage. Blast radius, so to say. AoE damage. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of Winged Hazard going down over here. The Arbalists are still shredding. We need something, though, against the Skirmishers once again. And Nicov doesn't really have the Bombard Cannons forward, so he's gotta go for something else. He had some Shut the Warriors come forward, but they're not really engaging. As a matter of fact, I think Nikov's Shut the Warriors just patrolling here. What is he doing? In my opinion, this is definitely going much longer than it should have. Yeah, there we go. And then on the left-hand side, we have the counter raids coming in from Mr. Yo. And the game is neck and neck once again. It's incredible how much Nicov struggled to clean this up or to seal the deal. And Mr. Yo now, he's managed to, you know, crawl back into this one. Mainly by just grabbing Nikov's leg and preventing him from crawling ahead, right, and getting much of a lead. In the end, it's going to be both players on a race to the bottom with 150 population, down from 180 just a few moments ago. And this here is going to go down even lower than this, 130 population. He's got a lot of Hazard, he's got a lot of Skirmishers queued up as well. He's going to end up losing a lot of units over here to Nikov's stronger army. And Nikov's push still very slow. Here we are. Chinese players never give up easily. That's a reputation, correct? And Mr. Yo is certainly showing for it. Keeps on expanding towards the east. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't care. And Nikov's being raided around. On the left-hand side, yeah, Mr. Yo still has some economy over here. In the end, he should end up getting cleaned up. We'll see that Nicov is sending some extra units. But it's very difficult for the players to keep up with everything that's taking place right now. How difficult? Let's take a look at APM. Take a look at that. Nicov's got 115 APM. Significantly higher, almost twice Mr. Yo's APM. But he's been struggling to keep track of everything. Even the idle military that we have over here as well. Now he's finally realizing about it. It's been like this with idle military for about a full minute or so. So now he's going to take the skirmishers down, finally get the villagers down over here. Mr. is going to keep on further behind in population as Nicov is finally picking up. Picking some steam up over here, gaining momentum, and Mr. Yo struggling to produce units faster than he's losing these. There we go. The end, Mr. Yo gets almost cleaned up. On the left-hand side, still a few villagers over here, but he's already taken so many losses. He's already gone down to less than 120 population that it seems like from this point onwards, there is no way for Nicov to throw this game. There is no way for Mr. Yo to come back unless Nicov makes a huge mistake, right? I'll be honest, I think this game should have been over about half an hour ago, and I think Nicov kind of dropped the ball when he was pressuring at the very beginning, but from this point onwards, so long as Nicov plays this properly, he should be the player getting the game, for sure. Interestingly enough, it's not the lack of gold that's really limited Mr. Yo so much, because he does have some gold minus somewhere, still. Not really sure where. Oh, still from the same goal here? Damn. But he's not been using it. He's not been taking advantage of it. So, Nicov is looking pretty much favored by a lot over here still. Although the resources from Mr. Yo are strong enough that he should be able to get a good amount of extra units out as well. Over 3,000 resources in the bank. I like the Wind Hussars, unlike every other AoE 2 Hussar, have wings. Yeah. Very fitting name, right? Because the standard Hussar was apparently not winged before. Magyar Hussar apparently did not have wings before either. Beautiful. Nikov's push is finally reaching the right hand side where Mr. Yo had a big chunk of his economy. Just gotta make sure that he does not get pushed back elsewhere. And at the center, he's doing a good job. He's keeping up over here. Manages to get the trebuchet down that Mr. Yo had trapped in this castle. My lord, Mr. Yo's getting back to 200 population. How is this game still going? Unbelievable stuff. Nicov does not have any siege over here. With our ballisters, he can take unprotected villages down, but he won't be able to take the TCs down. This is so weird, though. It's been a big struggle for Nicov. It seems like he's been on the lead for a very long time, but completely unable to actually seal the deal. And Mr. Yo, well, Mr. Yo is on one hand is actually in higher population compared to Nicov. And you know, the bull player has run out of the golds on the left-hand side of the center that he had protected with the castles. So the only golds left at the center are towards the south, east, and north of the hill, where Nicov has no protection whatsoever. So for instance, if Mr. Yo brought some units down the south over here, he would be able to push Nicov away from this gold. That's the only gold that Nikov's collecting from right now. And this one that's about to run out. So there isn't much of a lead for Nicov anymore. Having center control is not much of an advantage for the bull player because it's not really the case. This castle's only going to defend so much, and then the rest of the goals are completely exposed. So Mr. Yo could very well end up pushing Nicov away from the center. There's 100% some comeback potential over here for Mr. Yo still. And just an incredible performance for the red player, sure. Nicov may have made a few mistakes here and there, in my opinion, but Mr. Yo, he just played an insane game. Ever since he managed to sneak the villages around the left-hand side, get the castle up over here, start collecting gold, start making the comeback. From the way that he's been able to keep his economy alive, but just moving around the map over here, just banking on the fact that, you know, Nicov couldn't keep up with where Mr. Yo was at the time anyway. Mr. Yo got away with a lot of unprotected economy over here that he only protected going for extra TCs later on in the game. Correct for Mr. Yo as well. So he will end up with more gold at this rate, even not having the center. Yeah, absolutely. Nicov, okay, so he does have protection of this gold perhaps. That's going to be 1500 extra resources for Nicov to collect from. And it seems like Mr. Yo actually doesn't really care about the gold, because he's just massing a lot. You know what could be a possibility? If Mr. Yo just gets enough gold that he starts replenishing his trash units with Cavalier, and then just goes for a full big one. Final big Cavalier push. Because if that does not work, he can always fall back to Wing Hussar, and he's been able to survive so far with Wing Hussar just fine. So it's not like it will be a do or die position for him. Also, he's just finished researching Elite Obuk, so he's gonna start adding some of these into the mix, which could be great. They're actually pretty decent, even against Arbalesters, if you get a good amount of those, so Mr. is going to try to go for it. Needs to go for scale, chain, and plate mail armor, so that they do not go down instantly to Arbalesters, but once he gets that, it's going to be in a good position. Now we're in 15 minutes into it, guys. That is a lot. That is certainly a lot. We have had full series. Well, not full series necessarily, but we have had series take just as much time as the first series is taking just in game number 2 so far. Time limit? No. There is no time limit for this one. And once again, Mr. Yo's Olbuk are getting completely obliterated over here because he's got no defense upgrades whatsoever. Oh, nice rates though. Down the south from Mr. Yo. And then at the center, he's coming in with the Winged Hussar, trying to find where Nicov's collecting resources from. He cannot really see any gold miners over here as he's just going past these. He's going to get to the back of Nikov's economy towards the south, and he'll try to get the raids going. Now, it's unlikely he'll be able to do too much damage because he's already taken most of the villagers down. So he cannot do too much damage with the second Hussar army. But he will still find a few villages over here. And I can't believe Mr. Yo is locked a true underpopulation while Nicov, who seemed like he surely would have been able to take this game such a long time ago, is dropping under 150 pop, very soon under 140 pop, probably. My lord. You know, limit is the number of trees on the map. Luckily, this is not Black Forest. Hey, Turnip. Cliffy as well. Azor, hi to you if I didn't say hi before. Welcome, welcome. What an incredible game. At the very least, this is not just a... You know, a... what do you call it? This is not a stagnant game. It's not like players are just sending units, hundreds upon hundreds of units towards the center, towards the choke point to die, which we often see be the case in Black Forest. And Nicov calls a GG over here. It's gonna be 1-1. What a great performance from Mr. Yo. So yeah, at the very least, it's not a stagnant position over here, and we do still have raids and stuff happening around the map. Otherwise, it's such a hassle to spectate games where players just keep on sending units to the same position to die in the hundreds. Let's take a look at the achievements. Take a look at that. 382 Winged Hussar for Mr. Yo. 232 Arbalesters for Nicov. Unbelievable. The Imperial Age was researched so early into the game, all things considered. And for military, we'll see a better KD for Nicov in the end. The ratio is going to be about 6-5. Ended up getting about 800 and plus military units versus about 700 or so that he lost. And then for economy, we have a stronger economy for Mr. Yo. By a lot, it's not even close. 33,000 extra resources collected compared to Nicov. This is unbelievable. Let's take a look at society. The working count over here was not particularly higher for Mr. Yo this game, so that's just coming from efficient economy. And also, the stone is going to help quite a bit. If we take a look at resources collected, right, we're going to see the stone. He ended up collecting extra stone. That's going to result in extra gold, of course. That's going to be about 2,800 or so extra gold that Mr. Yo collected just from the stone collection over here. Plus the extra amount of stone per se that he collected over Nicov. That's going to help a little bit, but it's not going to make out the majority of this. So I imagine it's probably just going to be a matter of efficiency. And if we take a look at that, it makes sense. Nicov never went for a handcart. He never went for 2 manso. And to be fair, Mr. Yo does not get access to 2 manso, but he did have crop rotation. And he did have handcart. So his economy was more efficient. Despite the fact that he didn't really have too much of a villager lead for the majority of the game. Only towards the end of the game he was picking up on that. There we go. Start is good. It's great that a rather simple change like that can shake things up. Yes, absolutely. So we are in game number 3, guys. Welcome everyone. We have Nicov playing with Burgundians towards the north of the map, and we have Mr. Yo playing with Gajaras towards the south of the map. It's pretty interesting as is. Let's take a look at the map generation for both these guys while we wait for them to eventually go up to the next stage, and we wait for some action. So starting with the blue player, of course, let's take a look. Nicov, first off, he's got, I think this is about a good level. Nicov, he's got a stone forward, he's got a gold forward over here. These are kind of far away, and the goal mainly is going to be pretty difficult for a scout to spot from outside the walls. As a matter of fact, I think it's too far from the walls, and it wouldn't be possible even for a Castle Age scout to see this. So I think this goal is going to be saved. There is another goal over here on the back for Nicov, which is good. And the stone is kind of exposed. The gold over here, obviously, and the secondary stone, those are going to be outside the walls. But this is very interesting. If this stone got spotted over here, I would assume that most likely, if Mr. Yo was to put pressure over here, if he was to go for a forward castle, he would be going for a castle around this area, most likely. Yo! Komi, thank you so much for the raid, appreciate it. Welcome you guys, welcome everyone. We are casting game number 3 in the first series of the day from Warlords. Between Nicov and Mr. Yo. Taking a look at the map generation for these guys. So far, 1-1. Is the score for this series. And I hope you had a great stream. I hope you guys enjoyed Kami's stream as well. Very much appreciated, thank you. And yeah, we were just taking a look at the map generation for both these guys. And if we go and take a look at the map generation for Mr. Yo this time around, we'll see. Let's take a look. But the red player, he's got a gold forward, but this is too far away from the walls to get spotted by a castle. So if we were to see a castle go on a straight line, a scout go on a straight line over here, even in the castle age, right, around this, he wouldn't be able to spot the gold, or around this direction, whatever. And then we have one stone on the back, which is great. The other gold is on the back over here, and we do not really have any exposed resources that Mr. Yo would reveal to his opponent by Nicov scouting around this area, so it's alright. And then because the stone is on the left hand side, the secondary one outside the walls, and then the secondary goal is on the right hand side over here. If we were to see the... Actually... Yeah, if we were to see... You know, the blue player come with a cast 4, this is going to look red. Don't pay attention to it. Oh my lord, that is a siege workshop. If we were to see the blue player come forward with a castle around here, he would only be able to deny one resource at a time. So it's going to be either the gold over here or the stone over here. If he was to go for a fort castle at all, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Here we go. PLH is on the way for both these guys. We'll see them click out to the castle H right away afterwards, and it seems we're gonna see just scouts come out. Most likely, Nicov, Mr. Yo just go for a stable and a blacksmith once they get to the fuel H. It's going to be pretty standard in that regard, just trying to get some sort of military presence around the map so that they can go and try and contest the relics afterwards. Nicov will boom. I would assume both these players are going to try to go for economy. Mr. Yo is already garrisoned all the herdables over here. I have seen Gujaras already a few times in Arena. They have performed pretty alright. Yeah, Nico's got the villages over here at hand to go for the stable. Somebody else is going to go for the blacksmith. There we go. And we'll see some scouts come out after he clicks out to the castle H. Mr. Yo is going to go for actually a stable in a market as opposed to the blacksmith. Even though he already has a resource to click up, he doesn't need the market. It's still good. Here we go, Castle H on the way for both these guys at about the same time. As a matter of fact, at almost the exact same time, Mr. Yo is just behind by 1 second. The market is to predict the need for a market while the blacksmith is pretty much useless for a long time. Well, it's cheaper to go for the blacksmith as well. So there might have been some something behind that. And blacksmith's going to be useless so long as they do not engage with the scouts. Otherwise, scaled barden armor, potentially forging can make a difference, but yeah, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be useful in the long in the short term rather. So the market's most likely going to be a more versatile thing to have. Ultimately, though, I would imagine Mr. Yo will go for a blacksmith anyway at some point, and Nicov will most likely end up going for a market himself at some point as well. Let's see, the scouts are coming out. Nikov's going for them, and Mr. Yo is going for them as well, but Nikov's had production going for a little bit longer. He's got 4 scouts already out and the 5th scout on the way. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo has got 2 cavalry units, well, 2 mounted units, 3 mounted units, and no extra mounted units on the way whatsoever. So 1 camel scout and yes, 2 standard scouts over here. There we go, another one's coming out. Hail on Dan, Big Tree Caster appreciation post over here. Just so you know, these are not actually big trees. Take a look at the trees over here and at the trees over here. Check this out. I disable mods and they grow. These are called medium trees and are a middle ground between large trees and small trees. You can still see the units behind them, and they're not massive as big trees, but they still retain, in my opinion, the foresty look of Age of Empires, which I love. Small trees kind of makes it look like Civilization, or I don't know, some turn-based game, or maybe an RPG. Which I don't know, I guess it's probably just a matter of taste. I prefer this. Medium Tree Caster appreciation post here. Thank you, thank you. Anyway, Nicov is on 5 light cavalry over here, while Mr. Yo is on 3 light cavalry. And the camel rider, to be fair, the camel is going to be worth more, yeah, than a scout for sure. And even when getting surrounded over there, Mr. Yo ended up getting some good damage down with the camel over here, but he's gonna bail and try to reset the HP of the unit before he loses this. So let's take a look. That is good. Mr. Yo almost loses the camel over there. He's able to repel the units from Nicov with the monk, but the relic collection is going to begin already. Nikov's going to collect the first relic on the right hand side. We still have 4 relics up for grabs. This one, these two are somewhat closer to Mr. Yo's base as well as this one, but this one is kind of at the center. And then this one on the left hand side certainly favoring Nicov. And if you take a look at the minimap, there is a lot of extra blue around the center. So Nikov's presence over here is looking significantly stronger, and in the end, he does get away with the scout play over here, and it seems like he's going to get away with the second relic. We're gonna see he's gonna try to go after the light cavalry over here. He's gonna try and block with a spearman, but he cannot do it on time. RNG does not favor Nicov over here. He ends up losing the monk, and the relics will still be up for grabs as Mr. Yo has his own monk to play with as well. He could potentially get a relic collected very soon. And we do have 3 TCs as well from Mr. Yo. We were expecting the players to go for extra economy in addition to the scout production, and Nico's gonna be on 3 TCs as well, so it's kind of neck and neck in that regard right now. Oh yeah, the chat on screen, I forgot to bring it back, sorry. There we go. Thank you. There we are. Conversion is not connecting, and Nikov's just going to walk away here. It's alright, Mr. Yo. He's kind of behind in work account. I think he was the first player to get the extra TCs up, but he's racked up a lot of idle TC time. He struggled to keep production going. There we go. Beautiful. Finally a conversion connects for Nicov. He'll be able to get this relic in the end. He already is collecting the one on the right hand side, so that's gonna be 3 relics for him. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo was able to collect 1 relic, the one on the left hand side. The one that we said earlier was very close to his base. Actually, no. That's the relic that we said earlier was kind of in the middle of both bases. But now, Mr. Yo is going to try to collect this one. We'll see if he's able to do it. Light cavalry from Mr. Yo. Sees the monk in! Oh, this could have gone. Oh, my lord! Nicov should have been able to get the monk down over there if he had just committed to it. In the end, Mr. Yo is going to end up taking the scout over there, the light cavalry, and walking away with the relic. With a few scratches over here, certainly is not going to be an unscuffed monk, but now it's getting healed up with just the power of prayer. The monk's going back to full HP. Never mind, both monks go down. Couldn't convince the light cavalry fast enough, but Mr. Yo should be able to pretty much secure the relic. He's got another monk on the way, and this is so close to his base that so long as he keeps the camel over here, it's impractical for Nicov to invest the resources. He will need to go forward and try to collect this one. So in the end, it's going to be 3-2. Still favoring Nicov, mind you. But Mr. Yo at the very least was able to get some himself. From this point onwards, it's very likely we'll see the players just try and play for economy. 4TC is already up for Mr. Yo, for instance. And the 4TC should be on the way for Nicov very soon. He's got almost enough resources as well. I think he's going to end up going for the 30C on the left hand side of his base. Certainly. So probably let's say around here between the gold and right there, right? Between the gold and the wood. Oh, never mind. He's going for a mining camp. He had the resource to go for a 4TC. What's going on over there? Come on. No way. Mysterio loses yet another monk trying to cook the relic. This was so close to his base. I think the relic was around here. That monk. This is the life of the monk, by the way. The story of Mysterio's monk. Just gets out of here. Oh my lord, what is that? No. Get out of here, Mr. Siege Workshop. Yeah, this is just the life of Mysterio. Goes from here to here, here to here, here to here, and dies. That's about it. The monk was trained for years. We know that they are trained for years because they are pretty old. Either that or the training is extremely taxing, so they are bold. But was trained for years just to walk about, what is that, 100 meters and then go down in the battlefield. Feels bad, man.
Bonjour.
Or they shave? Ah, fair point. Fair point. That's my bad. I forgot that actually some monks do shave on purpose. These kind of look old because they do have hair on the back. I'm not really sure what the name for this type of hairstyle is. But yeah, just bald in front and at the center and then hair around it on the back, to the sides and on the back. So it kind of seems like either the monk was very stressed or maybe just genetics. Franciscan hair? Is that the name of it? Arson is coming up for Mr. Yo. He's got scale mail armor on the way as well. At this point in time, work account's about the same for both players, despite the fact that Mr. Yo has had 4 TCs for a while in Nicov. Nicov makes it to the Imperial Age earlier. Mr. Yo's gonna be there very soon. He's not really lagging behind too much. And he's got Mahayana coming up, which will reduce cost of military units by 35. Oh, Kshatriyas actually. Sorry, not Mahayana. Mahayana is the Imperial Age technology for Bengalis. He's got Kshatriyas, which is going to reduce the food cost of military units by about 35%. Whoa! My goodness! Thank you so much for the resub. 2 months! Thank you so much. Tonsure, is that it? Thank you, Cliffy. And yeah, there we go. It shows now. But you sub, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Thank you so much for the resub with Prime Gaming coming in. Pretty hot. Did you have to share it or did it just pop out out of nowhere? Conscription on the way for Mr. Does he know about the castle from Nicov? He's got no idea, so no traps. And conscription is on the way for Nicov as well. And he knows about the castle over here. He's just trying to prioritize the military production potential before he goes for trebuchets. Had to share it? Ah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's usually the way it goes. Thank you so much for the resub. In any case, 2 months with Prime Gaming. I love that. For a change, Amazon giving me some money without you having to pay for it. So I'll take all the Prime Gaming subs that you get, guys. If you have to spare an Amazon Prime Gaming sub, give it to me. We need to take revenge on this. We have to get back on this multinational trillion-dollar company. I don't know if it's a trillion-dollar company, perhaps just a few hundred billion, but still. Kind of let them bully the small guys. You pronounce the tech name of Indian Civ just as good as native from India. Oh, alright. That's good to know. I was just kind of guessing it, so I definitely could have gone the wrong way. And Cannoneer we have over here for Nicov. Because of his civilization, Burgundians get 25% higher damage on gunpowder units, and the hand Cannoneer are going to absolutely shred chakram throwers if they get the range. But of course, with Jack and Thrower also having some good range themselves, it's a little bit harder to make the hand cannoneer play work. But it seems like it's still going to be more than enough, though. The hand cannoneer are certainly trading better for the Jack and Throwers over here for sure. This castle seems like it's going down for Mr. Yo. Nico's looking great in game number 3. And not to beat the dead horse, but you know, if Nicov had played the previous game a little bit differently, this might have been already match point. This might have been the last game that Nicov needed, but of course we know how things went in the end. And taking this game is barely going to give Nicov the lead in the series once again, and he'll still have to go and take game number 4 or game number 5 in order to get the series. I said 4 days ago, it didn't show up before the share button. Anyway, yeah, squeeze the crap out of Prime. Everybody do that, please. Gotta get back. To quote the usually grievously misinterpreted Adam Smith, all for ourselves and nothing for other people. Extra castles on the way for Nico. That's gonna be the second and third castles over here. And you know, he's playing for good in the ends. He doesn't really have a need to go for the unique unit over here, but now he's got the infrastructure to go for it if he needs to. Oh, that was a great snipe over here from Mr. Yo, though. He takes a bunch of the villagers down from Nicov, denies the castle for the time being. At the very least, it's going to delay it for sure. But the problem is, when we see the players go for these kinds of raids, where Nikov's going for a full raid down the south, and Mr. Yo's going for a raid up in the north, and they're just striving, and they're just trying to trade over here. Whoever's got the better siege over here is going to get so much more damage done. So for instance, Mr. Yo, he manages to deny the castle, or at the very least delay the castle, right? On the right hand side, but he's got just chakra throwers, so he'll end up getting cleaned up over here, and he won't be able to keep on doing any more damage. Meanwhile, down the south, Nikov's got cavaliers, got halberdiers, got trebuchets and bombard cannons, so he can come forward, he can trev everything down, every defense down from Mr. Yo, and he'll be able to get a lot more damage done with a similar type of push over here, right? So in the base trade, if you can call it that, even though Mr. Yo didn't really have enough units up in the north to really call it the base trade, Nicov is certainly looking stronger because he actually has siege to work with, and he's been taking advantage of it. He's taking advantage of the 50% cheaper stable upgrades to go for paladins as well, and he is in a great spot. There we go. Relics get ejected from Nikov's monastery over there, Nicov. From Mr. Yo's monastery over there by Nicov, sorry. And blue player is going to keep on putting pressure over here, taking the TC down. And most likely than not, getting away with all of this, taking the castles down. We have the Trev, 4 bombard cannons still, plenty of hand cannoneer, take care of chakram throwers, but even to take care of any other unit. Hand cannoneers, sure, they have bonus damage against infantry, but with 25% extra, you know, higher damage, these guys are absolutely nuts as well. They will one-shot anything. Camels. Hussar, of course. It's amazing. Obviously, the attack rate is pretty slow, but they do pack a punch. Here we go, and he goes going after the castle next. He's got the trebuchet and the bombard cannons targeting it. Let's keep on bringing units as well. He's got more paladin on the way as well. That's going to be a great meat shield against the chakram throwers. Then he can use the hand cannoneer from behind that. Just keep the meat shield on the front lines, of course, and This castle seems like it's going down as Mr. Yo is unable to put a stop to the push for Nicov. And it's gonna be so good. Nicov's basically locked the 200 population now and has been for a little bit, while Mr. Yo is dropping under 120 population, very soon going down to less than 110, potentially less than 100 population before eventually he calls a GG, as that's usually been the cue to trigger the players calling the GG over here. But yeah, it's definitely looking pretty darn great for Nicov over here, even if he ends up taking a lot of losses with a hand cannoneer. He does manage to clean up the chakram throwers. He does manage to overthrow Mr. Yo, and does manage to prompt Mr. Yo to call the GG at 90 population. Nothing that the red player can do over here anymore. And Nicov, the Argentinian superstar, gets the second victory in the series in game number 3 to get a 2-1 lead on Mr. Yo. And to take us into game number 4, match point, as it was always going to be the case in game 4. Let's go through the achievements first, before hopping back out and taking a look at the civs and the maps remaining. Better than 3 to 2 KD ratio for Nicov shows some good unit control over here. Good army composition as well. Certainly a struggle for Mr. Yo to make his own military work. For economy, we see a stronger economy for Mr. Yo, collecting about 10,000 extra resources, close to it. Not quite, but very close. Society, on the other hand, also reveals a higher villager max count for Mr. Yo by quite a bit. In the end, he ended up losing about 7 villagers throughout the game, while Mr. Yo ended up losing 59, if I'm not mistaken. APM really quickly, just to see what we get. Okay. Yeah, it's looking better for Nicov over here as well, so the faster player from the two of them. And game number 4 is here. Welcome everyone. Nicov's playing Malay, Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo is playing with Malians. This is Nomad. However, unlike standard Nomad, because of the settings for Warlords, players will begin with 9 villagers. So it's more likelier, that players find the other player's DC when just trying to converge on a single point. And for instance, we already see that Nicov knows where Mr. Yo is going to be. If we take a look at Mr. Yo's line of sight, he doesn't know where Nicov is going to be though. That is kind of unfortunate for the red player. However, he did get vision over there for a split second of the villager going towards the south, so he can probably guess that Nicov is somewhere down the south. Let's enable predictions for game number 4. All in for Yo? Alright. Who takes game number 4? Option 1, the blue player. Option 2, the red player. So option 1, Nicov. Option 2, Mr. Yo. You have 5 minutes to get your predictions going using channel points already. And oh, this is great. Nicov's already taken a boar from very close to Mr. Yo's DC. So now Mr. Yo is going to have only the one boar up in the north. He did find one on the right hand side though, I think. Oh no, that's so unlucky for Mr. Yo. Just one tile away. Jam. Hey, welcome, Mystery. Hi, welcome back. You have arrived indeed. Fantastic. There we go. Nicov is taking the second boar. He still has this one. So he's gotten 2 boars down. Let me take a look. Mr. Yo's roaming around actually. He's got a villager over here. Because the players already went for docks, I do not expect Mr. Yo to be fishing for a good docking position. I think he's just gonna try and see where he knows where Nicov is now. He's just gonna try to see if he can deny any resources. So he can take some of the deer down over there, although it's unlikely that Nicov would collect from the deer over here. So instead, I guess Mr. Yo is probably just going to come forward and try to, I would guess, get the walls up over here, right? Something like this. It's very likely to happen. Okay, it's gonna take the boar first. So this one is gone. Then he'll go and probably wall this up Does Nicov have any extra resources? Any extra gold? Not quite. As a matter of fact, the location of the TC, and this is something that we need to analyze, the location of the TC for Mr. Yo is not particularly good. He's got 1 gold towards the southeast that is going to get denied by Mr. Yo. He's got the stone over here right next to the TC and the wood. And that's about it. That's all he's got. If we take a look at Mr. Yo's base instead, we'll see that he's got 1 gold on the right hand side. He's got 1 gold up in the north. He's got 1 stone up in the north, a stone on the left hand side, a stone on the right hand side. He's just basically surrounded by resources. He doesn't really have berry bushes right next to the TC, but it doesn't really even matter. As a matter of fact, take a look at this. He's got 2 freaking deer right next to the TC as well. How good is this? For Mr. Yo, it's freaking fantastic. Let's go after the FLH and send some villagers forward. We could see some towers come up as well. And where is it for a villager from Mr. Yo? He could have WILDEST. I think he went back. Yeah, he went over the left hand side, so he's gonna start getting some outposts up. Let's take a look at his vision. He knows where Nicov is, sorry. He's got good vision around here. It's great. Once he gets to the fuel age, I would like to see him go for town watch ideally, but that outpost is going to gain 2 extra line of sight anyway just by getting to the next stage, so he'll get to see a little bit further in. He's got extra outposts coming up over here. Fuel age is here for Nicov earlier, and Mr. Yo is gonna be there in about 10 seconds for now. And interestingly enough, Nicov is kind of in an awkward position. He's not going for Navy. Now he's finally going for the 1 fire galley on the right hand side, so he spotted a good location to go for this, and he might end up taking some of the fishing ships from Mr. Yo down. And Mr. Yo is likely to go for a tower. 1 tower for the red player. About here, on top of the hill, for instance, if he could go unnoticed. I don't think it's going to be possible, but even if he could get a tower, like, let's say, oh crap, that is not working. But yeah, even if he could get a tower up over here. Yeah, in between the gold and the stone, that'd be great, but this one is a little bit too far back. It's fine though, because getting the first tower is going to allow him to go for a second tower while being protected by the first tower already. So it's not the worst. Ideally, the first tower would have targeted both resources, but it was a little bit riskier because he had to go for the tower a little bit further forward. So now Nico's going for his own tower, for instance. There we go, and Mr. Yo might be able to get some good damage done. Oh, that's a lot of damage, actually. He almost gets a village down. There we go. And they're just going to range each other now. We have fletching for Mr. Yo. We do not really have it for Nicov, and Nicov's got the hill advantage. Plus, he's got the defender's advantage, so he can garrison all the villages he needs in there. And Nicov should be a little bit better. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo finally starts going for some archers. He had the archer range, and he's going to start populating the tower with the archers. I like this. Without seeing these matches, I would have given Mr. Yo about a 75% chance to take this. Oh yeah, I would agree. I would agree, but Nicov's certainly shown great skill level in this series so far. On the right hand side, Nicov does end up pushing Mr. Yo out of water as well, or at the very least away. Here we go. Nice villager snipe over here from Mr. Yo. He's managed to get 4 eco units so far. He's getting a villager down, and he's getting a bunch of fishing ships down over here as well on the left-hand side. Might end up losing the galley over there, but doesn't matter. Probably not. He already takes all the fishing ships down, so at the very least he's able to keep up with worker count against Nicov, despite the fact that Nicov was the first player to put pressure on water. Now, to be fair, Mr. Yo does have some idle economy because of the fishing ships not actually working over there. But he is also the one putting pressure over here. He has been able to get a villager down from Nicov. He has been able to force the tower. And it seems like he might be able to take the tower down. And if he can take this tower down, then he can go for another tower himself. He's got the resources already. And another tower would actually be fantastic for the red player. We could see... yeah. Tower come up, you know, further towards the south. There we are. Nicov gets pushed away to the left-hand side. Yeah, and this tower is fantastic, actually. He didn't even go for the tower where I was expecting him to go for it. Instead, he does end up just pushing Nicov away from the goal, from the wood. And the map hacks from Mr. Yo certainly showed up here for this one. He might just be, and this might be a wild theory over here from me, but he might just be more experienced on this map, and he might know a little bit better what to look for when placing the TC, especially when you start with 9 villagers. You do have the ability to garrison a little bit, actually sorry, not to garrison, to scout a little bit more before settling on allocation for your TC. There we are. Man, this is huge. Only one villager over there. Garrison from Mr. Yo, from Nicov, sorry, allowed Mr. Yo to almost get a tower up right next to the TC. Let's chasing the skirmishes with villagers, and Nicov's on the back foot, guys. Nicov's on the back foot, and you know, Mr. Yo is looking great over here. If he can take these villagers down, and given the fact he's the player with the most archers over here, and Nicov's just going to have skirmishers to play defensive for the most part, well, Mr. Yo is in a pretty good spot. Another one goes down, 2 villagers dead. We might see a 3rd village go down over there. Oh, that's so close. Mr. Yo's gotta be careful. The skirmishers are there. He's waiting until he gets his tower up before hopefully bringing the villagers forward further to push the skirmishers off. Well, it might be too late, as now Nicov's going for 2 towers on the left-hand side. He should have enough defenses to secure his woodline. But yeah, you know what? Because of the range of these towers, it would 100% be possible. Let's select both these. It'll be 100% possible for the red player to just go around like this. Oh shit. Just go around like this, and oh crap, and basically just start pushing villagers away from here, from here, from here. Genuinely surprised to see a Chinese pro pick Nomad and not go for Spanish. Yeah. This has been so far a pretty good game for Mr. Yo. Even if the population right now doesn't show for it, I would imagine the idle or the gather economy time should be higher for for him, right? Oh, it's about the same for both these players, interesting. So Yo does have Horse Scholar though, so his economy is gonna be a little bit stronger, especially down the road. Who's this professional caster? Hey! Dan the Man's great. Welcome back as well. Hope everything's going alright for you. So far, it's been a great set. We've been live for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Casting this for the most part of that time, of course, and you know, this goes in favor of Mr. Yo, and it seems to me like it should be going in favor of Mr. Yo. Given how much pressure he's been able to put, given how strong he's looking right now, given the fact he is going to be the first player to go up to the castle just way by the looks of it. Then we are going to have a full series, but never mind that. Nico's using the market. He's abusing the market, as a matter of fact. And he might actually end up beating Mr. Yo to the castle age. Well, the red player is kind of house right now. I don't see a house coming up for him anywhere. Okay, he went for one somewhere. But yeah, if he ends up taking this one, we're gonna get a full series. And it's not necessarily what I was expecting to see in this set. I'm doing fine, yes. Every day a little bit better, going back to normal. And I'm really looking forward to next week. Tomorrow we are going to have some great sets to cast using recorder games from Double Cup 3. And yeah, gonna go back to studying, practicing guitar, gonna try and get back to shape. Try to stop just thinking all day about the Amazon situation. I'm just going to let that go. And just get back to work and get the funds otherwise to get the audio interface and screw Amazon. Nicov will win this one? Okay, that seems like a statement over there, guys. Castle Age is here for Nicov. He didn't manage to click up earlier because he's playing Malay. He does get there sooner as well. And also because he's playing Malay, at this stage he should already be on 5 extra workers, but because Mysterio has done such a good job with all the damage he's done on Nicov's economy, Mysterio has been able to keep up despite the fact that Nicov's H resource time is so much faster. It's much shorter. There we go. Castle Age is here now for Mr. Yo. He's got 2 stables. And Nicov got to the Castle Age, but he doesn't really have too much in terms of production potential. He's got 2 archer ranges over here, but he's not really been going for the units. He's got 8 skirmishers to defend himself against Mr. Yo's feudal units, but you know, he's not been going for crossbows, for instance. He's not really been going for much of anything. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo, as soon as he gets to the castle, he's gonna start pumping knights. He's gonna go for the second TC. Nicov, on the other hand, he's gonna try and get a castle out, which is going to provide protection to the stone and the gold, but won't do too much in terms of getting him ahead in this game, getting his economy in a better position. So here come the knights. They are taking the skirmishers down. The quick walls coming in from Nicov over here should at the very least guarantee the castle coming up, even if he is able to just wall some villagers. 2 villagers over here. Yeah, and in the end, Mr. Yo doesn't seem like he'll be able to take any of the villagers down over here. So the castle comes up. No losses over here. No terrible losses over there for Nicov in any case. Just a few skirmishers. And he's getting the quick walls over here to protect the rest of his economy. He's gonna be fine. It's open over here though, but he realizes. And yeah, you know, Mr. Yo's got... Wow, well done. Well done for Mr. Yo. Notice how he brought the fishing ship over to tank, and he ended up getting a better trade over there because of it. Unbelievable that he's paying attention to that at the same time as he's going for the extra TCs and he's trying to micro the knights. Well done. A relic coming in for Mr. Yo as well. Gonna start pulling ahead quite a lot. Sorry about that. My lord. What is going on? The program is just turning up on me. I need to debug this, but I'm going to do it after the game. Nice defense for Mr. Yo for the most part. You could say defense, mainly because, yeah, he's prevented taking losses over here, but he's the player on the offensive currently, so I guess it's probably good offensive over here from Mr. Yo, regardless. Yeah, the Karambit Warriors are coming up over here. Well, Mr. Yo's units are stronger. Also, he could make a play for infantry himself, although it's never going to catch up to the Karambit Warriors. It is going to be significantly stronger. It's going to be pretty resilient as well with Malians, with higher pierce armor. But it's just going to choose to stick to knight production over here. And this is kind of awkward because if Nicov just goes for a... Yeah, he's got the monks over here already, which are enough to push Mr. Yo away for the time being. Mr. Yo is going to start going for light cavalry so that he can counter this. I was going to say, if Nicov just adds a few pikemen into the mix, then Mr. Yo is kind of completely countered, so... Mr. Yo's gotta ideally go for something else besides this, and potentially I think infantry would be good, but he's gonna choose to stay on cavalry, and he's got the light cavalry and knights. Army composition over here to work with, not too many scouts just yet. This is good though, this is good for Mr. Yo! He's got 4 light cavalry very close to the monks! And Nicov's bringing the Karambit Warriors over here, but the monks should be going down. Yes, we see the conversions coming up over here. Now we're gonna see the light cavalry coming out, and that's going to be a complete sweep with the monks going down right there. And the light cavalry surviving over here. They're going to leave the room open for the knights to dominate and clean this up. The Karambit Warriors are getting completely destroyed. It was not even close. KD for Mr. Yo is so much higher, exactly twice. KD compared to Nicov over here, 2-to-1 KD ratio, and this is just amazing from Mr. Yo. He's getting great momentum from here. Castle's coming up now for Mr. Yo as well. Yes. And Nicov doesn't really have the resources to do anything about this actually, so this castle is effectively perma-pushing Nicov away from the farms. He's going to take the TC down as well. And these knights, honestly, we have a good enough amount of knights over here that he should be able to overwhelm the walls over here from Nicov and prevent the blue player from walling. Oh, and it's open actually on the left-hand side. So Mr. Yo brought the units over the left-hand side. He would have been able to come in already. Is he going to send the units over there? He knows it's open. Yes, he's going. He's marching towards the left, but Nicov doesn't even need to wait for Mr. Yo to filter his units in. He's just going to call the GG right away. And Mr. Yo thus equalizes the series. Takes us to game number 5. Nicov's gonna have to try his darnest over here as Mr. Yo is looking great. For military, we have a very good KD for Mr. Yo, and the end's going to be even better than 2-to-1. It's going to be a little bit better than 7-to-3, as a matter of fact, and then for economy, we see a stronger economy for Nicov. But it did not matter. The KD was so much better for Mr. Yo that it certainly offset for 200 measly extra resources that the blue player was able to get. Working count was, for the most part, a little bit higher for Nicov throughout the game. Towards the end, Mr. Yo started picking up some steam, and the longer the game went, the higher the lead and villager count was going to be for Mr. Yo because of how much pressure he was putting and how many losses Mr. Nicov was taking. So it was just going to keep on getting harder and harder for the bull player. Well done, Mr. Yo. 2, Nicov 2. Like Dave for me, lost all 3 bits. And there we are, game number 5 is here, the final one. You have Nicov playing with Dravidians on the left-hand side and Mr. Yo playing with Italians towards the northeast.
Salve.
Sorry.
What do you expect over here then? Nico Civilization's gonna give him... Wow! Anonymous, thank you so much for the sling over there, for the tip. It's very much appreciated. $5 coming in hot. 280 out of $500 for the new audio setup. It's very much appreciated.
Hey.
Whose map? This is technically, I believe, Nikov's map, but let me take a look at that really quickly once again to make sure that I'm not just talking crap here. No, this was Mr. Yo's map. This was Mr. Yo's map. My bad. Since that was anonymous, I'll flatly lie and say that was me. I love how you just admit that it's going to be a lie right away. Kind of reminds me of this series that I've been watching lately called The Middle. There is a character over there, Brick, who has this thing. Whenever he lies, he just whispers. And it's like pretty easy, of course, to figure it out. Post Dravidians versus Italians and water map. Who wins? I guess we are going to find out. I think I'm still favoring Mr. Yo's civilization over here. I'm favoring Mr. Yo on this map specifically as well. Because we need to get to post imp for Nicov to try and take advantage of it. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo... Well, Mr. Yo's going to have a lot of stuff going his way much earlier in the game. From cheaper fishing ships that will allow him to save resources to cheaper age costs, right? So it's cheaper for him to go up to the fuel age, so he can go up to the fuel age faster, he can go up to the castle age sooner as well. And he gets also a discount on dock and university upgrades, so he can go for ballistics, he can go for the war galley upgrade for cheaper as well. And Nicov gets 200 additional wood each time that he goes up. But it's only something that he gets after getting up. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo saves the resources when clicking up already. So it's a little bit of an earlier bonus in that regard for Mr. Yo, I guess. So now I'll tell you I lie. The faster people can get to forgetting I admit to lying. Become a politician, as long as you don't admit to lying, you're okay. Oh man. Politicians face elections. Smart money is in becoming a bureaucrat, so you can't be voted out. There we go. Mr. Yo's gonna go and transport some villagers and take a look at this! Nico's got a villager over here, but he does not spot Mr. Yo. And Mr. Yo had no idea where Nico was, so there is an element of luck over here, absolutely. For Mr. Yo not to get spotted. We see a barracks coming up. Oh my lord! Mr. Yo's just going for this one. In the fuel age. He's not gonna play the water game, or at the very least, not gonna commit to it fully. And he's just gonna try to take this one on land. ASAP is just gonna go for it right away. Holy crap, it's gone only for 2 fishing ships, so he has the resources to go for this land push. And the stable's coming up, and Nicov's got no idea. This could hardly have gone any better for Mr. Yo. Obviously, this kind of terrain difference over here, or the terrain change that we see, is just for the spectators. Nicov doesn't really know that there's anything over here from looking at the fog of war. Yeah, and there is a third talk coming up over here. Nico will get in that fully... Wait, what? Will not get in fully water control, sorry, but... You know, Mr. Yo is gonna get the scouts coming out very soon, and I wonder if he's gonna go also for an archer range. He's not collecting any gold, to be fair. Okay, there we go. He starts collecting some gold, so we're gonna see an archer range come up over here. And it's going to be scouts and archers. And that's gonna be so hard for Nico to hold on against, and the scouts are coming in already. Get into the wall line, and the quick walls do not connect for Nicov, and Mr. Yo just trying to keep the villagers away from working. We'll wait for the third scout before potentially committing to the engagement. He's got to be careful here. He'll end up getting a villager over here. Not quite. He's trying to sustain the HP of his unit so much. And now that the archer range is up, we'll start going for a few archers for sure once he realizes. There we go. He's got the first archer queued up. He's got to go. Also for fletching, of course. And we'll see finally a village go down over here. From Nicov to Mysterio Scouts. Yes, sir, and that's not going to be the last one. It's not going to be the end of it. Not even close. Another villager is going down over here for the blue player for sure. Unless he manages to garrison the villager side of the tower. He doesn't, but he saves the villager anyway. And there's another villager over here. Instead, to pay the price. Only one villager killed so far from Mysterio. But of course, now with the archers coming out, he'll be able to put pressure over here once again. And potentially get the villagers down. As there are no towers defending Nikov's wood line. Gonna keep on roaming around, but he does not have any extra scouts. It's just going to be archers. He still has the transport ship over here in case he needs it. And the villagers are going to stay there. We're gonna see a tower come up for Mysterio, of course. And Nicov realizes he sees the villagers, but cannot do anything because he doesn't have the stone to go for another tower. And I don't think he's got a market to try and buy the stone either. So yeah, and there we go on the right hand side. Mysterio does end up pushing the villagers away from wood. It was overchopped over here, so that's going to be another villager loss for Nicov. Not quite. The TC's right there, and Mysterio's committed, and he gets the villager. Keeps the archers alive. We'll end up losing the villagers over here. It was to be expected. We'll see the transport ship over here finally come to play. And I guess he would have been able to save both these villagers if he realized about it earlier, but I guess it's fine still. So far, Mysterio has gotten 2 villagers down. He's managed to save his own villagers. And he still has the buildings up completely available. So these have not gotten walled off, for instance, yet, right? And he's got more archers coming out. So he still will be putting a lot of pressure. Now, the thing is, Mysterio, I don't think he needed to play like this. I don't think he needed to play the land game. And if this does not work out, I think he's just going to fall too far behind. Transport ship goes down, the villager drowns, and yeah, you know, Nicov, if he's able to stabilize over here, it's gonna be in a much better spot. He's gone so far for 4 fishing ships. He's got right now a higher worker count compared to Mysterio. He's got the defensive skirmishers, and I think Mysterio might have been a little bit too impatient in going forward with 2 scouts only. If he had waited for the 3rd scout, he would have been able to get, I think, probably more villagers. And obviously, if he had gotten archers out as well, he would have been able to prevent any walls from coming up, potentially the towers as well. But obviously, it's easy to say that when you're just spectating the game over here, while Mr. Yo, he was playing over a spot in the winners matchup. So we'll see. Pressure's still going here. There we are. Oh, did I say Mr. Yo? I meant to say Nicov. Nikov's got the fishing ships over here. Mr. Yo got pushed away from water, so if Nicov stabilizes, then he'll be in a better position because he's got a stronger economy. However, Mr. Yo is getting almost enough resources though. Mr. Nicov is getting enough resources. He was getting very close to having enough to go up to the castle age, and now instead it's going to try to get water back. He's got demolition rafts on the way. On the right hand side we see transported archers from Nicov though. Now he'll try to get some pressure going against Mr. Yo, and the difference is that he's already gotten for the most part water control, so this is kind of an extra for him. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo ended up trading his water presence for his land push, and in the end he's not really getting much of anything with it. The archers go down on the left hand side for Mr. Yo, and Nikov's archers on the right hand side. He will end up pushing villagers away from wood over here. Either that, or at the very least, he's going to force Mr. Yo to react over here. So far, Mr. Yo's had to go for skirmishers. Doesn't seem like Mr. Yo has anything going over here anymore, right? Nope. No production of scouts, no production of military units on the left-hand side, just defensive units on the right-hand side to defend themselves with the Nicov. Man, Nicov is still with a higher navy count over here, but he's gotta be careful because one big demo shot over here can change things up, and of course Mr. Yo goes for it. Nicov is wary of that fact, so he's been trying to keep his units kind of scattered around. He's gotta be very careful over here. Of course, there's another demolition raft coming out very soon from Mr. Yo. Nicov doesn't want to get too close to the docks over here from the red player. Unbelievable. So many resources spent on the left-hand side trying to get the land push going, and Mr. Yo's not really able to get away with it. Now Nicov gets a villager down on the right-hand side. He's going to get another villager down over here, but the looks of it, he's got the scout to potentially block the villagers with as well, although he cannot manage to get enough damage to take the villager down in the end. Even if he's got fletching, the amount of archers is still very low. And then on the center, still the fight over water continues. And demolition raft's coming out over here. This could be a big bang from Mr. Yo, and that's so bad. This is so well played from Nicov. He just kept the units separated. And it's very unfortunate. Mr. Yo tried. He tried to get a good shot over there, but Nicov, he was just in a much better position over there. Now he's gonna be the first player going up to the castle edge, and I just can't believe my eyes as I see Mr. Yo losing on his potential for a lead, getting pushed away from Nikov's island when he arrived and was completely unspotted. And now Nicov is certainly looking the strongest in this game. Seems to be the favorite to take this one, so it's going to be his games to lose. And Mr. Yo finally will be able to go up to the castle edge, but Nikov's already going to be halfway up by the time Mr. Yo is even able to click up, and that is without even taking into account the fact that Nikov's water control over here, water presence, so much stronger compared to Mr. Yo, and he might end up just taking all the docks down. Still, archers, more archers transported over from Nicov. Manages to get one village down. He loses the army over here, but it might not matter. He's already going after the castle, so all he's got to do is secure water control, and that should be enough for him to start pulling a significant lead over Mr. Yo. By getting full water control and going for some fishing ships, that's going to put him in a pretty good spot. There we go. Castle Age is here for Nicov. Here we are. We have the War Galley upgrade on the way for Nicov, of course, and Mr. Yo. Man, Mr. Yo, to be fair, he lands a nasty demo shot over there, but he's only now clicked up to the castle age, while Nicov already has War Galley, so he will clean docks up. And if he starts making a play for standard War Galleys, you know, he'll be able to deny a lot of resources. There's something that I did not really take a look at earlier in the game, but I think is very, very important to realize. If you take a look at this, check this out. Mr. Yo's island is very long and thin. So with standard War Galleys, if we take a look at the range of these units, check this out. Once Nicov gets Bodkin Arrow, he'll be able to deny so much of the land. How much so? Well, take a look at this. I would say probably all of this is completely denied just from the fact that Nikov's got water control. That's going to leave the red player on only this much surface area to work with. That is not enough. That is not enough. There you go, Castle Age is here for Mr. Yo, and I don't know, man, he's just so far behind. So long as Nicov plays his cards right, and he just scattered the units around and just try and prevent Mr. Yo from getting any dogs up, right? Just try and spot any potential dogs coming out, then send the extra units over there and try to prevent the red player from coming back onto water. Nicov should be in a much better position. He's got 3 TCs. He's got significantly more fishing ships, as Mr. Yo doesn't have a single fishing ship, and the red player ended up kind of risking this one, making the choice of going for a more out-of-the-box strategy, and didn't really pay off. So it seems like from this point onwards, Mr. Yo is going to keep him further and further behind. That's what she said. Nicov might actually be able to go out to the Imperial Age earlier because of how strong his economy is, and if he gets to the Imperial Age, that is, well, pretty much GG. To be fair, the lead right now is so substantial that I still think it's looking pretty much over at this point already, but if Nicov gets to the Imperial Age earlier as well, that's just... that basically completely denies the full island from Mr. Yo, because once you get access to cannon galleon, which are significantly longer range compared to war galleys, yeah, that there isn't a single spot inside Mr. Yo's base that's going to be safe. In a ladder game, this is where you type 105 as blue player. Fair, fair. Man, this is incredible. Was anybody expecting Nicov to do this well against Mr. Yo in the series? I was honestly expecting either a 3-2-1 or 3-2 series to go in favor of Mr. Yo, but Nicov's just played an incredible set over here. And if I had to be honest, once again, I did say a few times that in game number 2, in my opinion, Nicov could have taken it if he put a little bit more pressure. He was very, very cautious, and he didn't need to be. So I think this could have been actually a 3-0. That would have been something else for sure. But Mr. Yo managed to take game number 2 in the end. Got game number 4, got us a full series over here. And while Mr. Yo is clicking out to the Imperial Age earlier, Nicov shouldn't lag too far behind. And the blue player's got enough stone to go for a castle right now, so there are a few things he can go for. He can go for the castle forward, or he can go for the castle over here and try to protect the extra resources. Otherwise, basically he just needs to survive in the Imperial Age until he gets to the fast fire ship upgrade himself, and then he'll be able to hold on against whatever Mr. Yo's got to play with. I'm Up would be a very interesting name for a vacuum. Okay, the cast is coming up forward from Nicov. By the way, careening is only now coming up for Mr. Yo. Nicov already had it. He transported 9 villages over here. Only possible if he's got careening. Yeah. The cast is coming up, and once he gets it, are we going to see Roomy Swordsman? Certainly would love to see them, for sure. Not really sure if that's going to be the case, though. Good pressure over here, even if Nicov will not get pushed away by the castle. Once he gets to the Imperial Age, he can go for Cannon Galleon. He can go for Trebuchets himself over here. I don't think Mr. Yo is aware of the castle. Oh, he knows. He knows about the castle, okay. I think he lost a villager over there, or a scout or something. Maybe skirmisher. There's another castle on the way for Nicov. He doesn't have stone miners, and he utilized the market quite heavily in order to get this next castle up. So I guess he could technically buy himself yet another castle if he wanted to. But yeah, right now with 2 castles up, it's very important for him to go for the trails as soon as he gets to the Imperial Age so that he can go for double trip production and doesn't fall behind too much to Mr. Yo, who already has a second trebuchet on the way. Here we are. Beautiful. This is fine for you? Yeah. It should be. Right? He's got 2 trips. How does Nicov stop that? Mr. Yo's got this one. Yeah, it's fine. You know, we should trust God's psychic powers. He was only wrong 100% of the times before in this series, but that also means that he's already gotten all the poor predictions out, so now only the good predictions are left. So I'm going to renew predictions right now, and I would suggest everybody to bet for Mr. Yo. Alright, there we go. Castle goes down for Nicov, yes, but he does manage to keep the trebuchets up over here. He's gonna go after the castle from Mr. Yo. This is the only fortification for the red player, so if he loses this one, he's just gonna have TCs left to work with, and this one is going down to the galleon. War galleys even, not even galleon. And then of course this TC is going down to the trebuchets pretty easily, so this is really good for Nicov. In all seriousness, he does have over twice the population compared to Mr. Yo. He is in a much better position over here as well. Keep the trebuchets up. Should allow him to take the castle down eventually, as Mr. Yo is only repairing the castle with 4 villagers. Nicov, is losing the trebuchets in the end to the bombard cannons though. The castle went down to so low HP. Is Nicov ever going to go for cannon galleon? He's got bombard cannons instead on the way. It's fine still. He can take the trebuchets down over here, potentially the bombard cannon from Mr. Yo. That's gonna be good. But this is what we saw in game number 2 as well. Nicov was looking so good. He was looking so strong, but he struggled to take advantage and to seal the deal, and then Mr. Yo was able to come back. Now, to be fair, the lead that Mr. Yo had in that game was not anywhere near as strong as the lead that he's got in this game right now. But Mr. Yo, because this is, you know, the last game of the series, is going to keep on trying a little bit more. He should know just how far behind he is, and Mr. Yo will end up losing the trebuchets over here in the end. Oh, nice snipe though. Barkham goes down. Trebuchets should go down as well though. Yes, sir. This one. Yes, sir. Here we are. The Dravidians get cannon galleon? I believe they do. Let me take a look. Yeah, they do. They get elite cannon galleon even. That's going to be GG coming up from Mr. Yo. It was only a matter of time, and Nicov does end up taking the 5th and final game of the series over here. It's an absolutely incredible performance over here from Nicov in the series. Even with a few missteps here and there, he does end up taking it and moving on to the winners match to take place next weekend. Well, Mr. Yo is going to get knocked down to the elimination match. He needs to get past that one and then past the deciders to move on to the quarterfinals. KD is better for Nicov, about 76. We're gonna see for technology a stronger, actually, sorry, for economy, a stronger economy for Mr. Yo, and it's not even close. 17,000 extra resources. While on the right hand side, we see for society also a stronger worker max count for Nicov, and shouldn't probably surprise anyone. So the high risk, high reward kind of strategy here for Mr. Yo did not pay